Hello, and welcome back to me rambling 4.0. I am in a new location. I moved to Texas. Now with that out of the way, let's get to it. So, start with things I still believe. I still would consider myself an agnostic atheist in the sense that we can't have knowledge about those types of things. So I can't say for sure either way. Still believe science is our best bet. I would still consider myself a naturalist / materialist. Still don't believe we have free will. I still do believe that Darwinian evolution is the best explanation for how we got here. I would still consider myself a utilitarian with the explicit understanding that ultimately it is meaningless, and the idea that maximizing pleasure is important is simply a stubborn illusion of our biology. As a product of evolution, because it was evolutionarily advantageous to believe that mitigating suffering was important. I don't know, however, if I still believe that gratitude, health, agency, relationships, and purpose are the best way to achieve happiness, which is actually what I want to talk about today, achieving happiness. I'm not happy with my haircut, but whatever, doesn't matter. Subject matter for today, first thing, is last time I was conflicted about, on an ethical standpoint, would it be best if everyone tried to maximize the well-being of everyone else and secondarily their well-being would be maximized, or try to maximize their own well-being and secondarily they would become altruistic because that would be in their best interest? And whether or not one or the other would be ethically correct, I don't think we actually have a choice in the matter. I think humans are, because we don't have free will, but I think humans just are going to be selfish either way, and I think that happens to result in selflessness when it positively affects the individual, which usually selflessness does, even if just for a sense of purpose or ego, I suppose, like helping a homeless person, even if it just makes you feel better, it's still doing something about yourself, still doing something for you. So, what I really wanted to talk about today is the pursuit of happiness and what I believe to be the most evil thing to exist, which is hedonic adaptation. Crazy one. Here's the thing. Last time I talked about happiness, I was speaking about it as if it was a mental state that you could arrive at once you had completed, X, Y, and Z. And if you just focus on a few things like health and relationships, essentially you could retire, reach happiness and retire as long as you kept these few things going indefinitely. But I believe that was incorrect, because I believe the most important factor I was not considering is hedonic adaptation, which is essentially defined as subconsciously recalibrating your expectations after an increase or decrease in life quality. For example, if I were to pull a homeless person off the streets and set their life up, solve all their problems, take their addiction away, reunite them with their family, give them $1 million, make their life, all their problems go away, make their life great. At first, it would be like this huge happiness burst in their life, and then over time, they'd get used to it, and they would feel just the same. No matter what circumstances you come across, after a period of time, you will adapt and they will feel normal, no matter what. You will never feel in a perpetual state of abnormally happy. That is just not something that is possible, or at least that's what I believe now. I know this to be true in my own life, and the reason I'm talking about this now is because I have recently gotten to the point where I've had enough data points to realize that, this is a saying I've made up, the carrot always looks like it will taste better on the stick than it does in the mouth, which is to say that when I'm dreaming about something, when I'm looking forward to some big event in my life, the imagination is always so sweet and always so exciting and beautiful, And when I actually get there, it does feel good, and it is amazing, it is exciting, and then inevitably it returns to feeling normal. And that's the thing that I'm always trying to escape, is this feeling of normal. And I always want to feel better than normal. And what I'm realizing is that because you adapt to no matter what happens, you kind of have two options as far as always feeling better than normal. Which is, one, you stop trying to change your circumstances and you accept everything the way it is, and you practice relentless, not passive, but actively practicing gratitude for everything you have in the situation you're in, which it also requires a very heroic effort, because gratitude is also subject to hedonic adaptation. You'll also become used to being that positive feeling you get from being grateful. The second option is you always increase the input in your life of things that are making you happy. You can always add more things that are exciting to your life. Like if getting $1 million makes you happy, but then once you get it, you're like, oh, this feels normal, then get $1 billion. And if that makes you feel normal, well, then, keep adding more and more things to your life. And some people do that. I would imagine that it's not a good way to be happy. Well, I don't have to imagine, because the things that's gone on in my life, for example, like van life, was this thing that I looked forward to, and it was this beautiful, it was going to be great, huge adventure, and I imagined every day how it would be, and I started, and it was great, and it was awesome for months, and then after a while, it eventually just became like normal. Living van life wasn't enough to be exciting or amazing or fun. It just became, this is my life. And then it became moving to Texas, and it was this huge, big, exciting, like, I'm moving to Texas, my house is going to be like this, I'm going to meet all these friends, I'm going to go to this cool gym, I'm going to have all this and that in my house, and I have all this and that in my house, and I went to this cool gym, and I made all these cool people, and it's exciting at first, and then lo and behold, it goes back to feeling normal. I hope I've beaten this dead horse enough that no matter how good your life gets, it will always revert back to being normal. So where does this leave me now? Well, I don't know. I've been thinking of this a lot for the past couple days, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. But I think where this leaves me now is I now have the wisdom to know that my desires are deceptive, in a sense that my brain will tell me, ooh, once you get a girlfriend, it's going to be big and exciting, and that's going to be the final key to, indefinitely being happy. Or once you get this car, once you get this house, and I have the wisdom now to realize that every desire I have fulfilled before was not the thing, and there's a good reason why it's not the case, and it's the same good reason, hedonic adaptation, will persist through all other desires I have. So I have the wisdom to not pursue desires in hopes that they will fulfill me. So there's that. I could stop chasing things. Kind of hard, kind of scary, because if I'm wrong, then I'm just going to stunt my progress in life. Or I can just practice, relentless gratitude, which also gets to a point where you constantly have to be putting more in to get the same effect. Much like a drug. If being grateful for Scout is good one day, the next day I'm going to have to really be grateful to feel the same amount. Oh, what do you know? Come here. I'm very grateful for Scout. So I can either put a continued doubling of my efforts towards always doing more things in life, always doing the next exciting thing perpetually, or perpetually staying where I am but being greater, more and more grateful every day, greater and greater amounts of gratitude every day. But never will I be able to sit down and retire and just be happy. So my final thoughts about this are, maybe happiness is not the goal after all, and maybe a state of peace is what I've been after all along, to be able to just sit down and no longer desire anything. And I don't want to talk about that too long because I will fly to India and become a Buddhist monk. Second thing is I do believe hedonic adaptation is a issue that resides more in our biology than our psychology. I believe it has more to do with the way our brain creates more receptors when a certain positive neurochemical is present than it does with the fact that our psychology, you could say, gets used to certain positive things. I think it's more of a brain thing than a mental thing, if that makes sense. Which is good news, because it gives me hope that through modern medicine and neuroscience, perhaps an up-and-coming neuroscientist will one day be the person to solve hedonic adaptation, whether it be through a pill or an implant or something of the sorts, to where everyone can be indefinitely happy without constantly doubling the amount of effort they're putting into being happy. So maybe give me 20 years and I'll solve the most evil thing that has ever existed. Hedonic adaptation. Alright, that's all. I'm out. One more thing. Mormon girls came over to my house yesterday. Another set of Mormon girls, not the ones I was originally texting. Still not convinced. Do not think Mormonism is true. Okay, bye.